Are we
Uh,
live yet?
yes, I think so. Yes, it even shows on YouTube. Uh-huh. Okay.
Awesome.
So I'm looking too much down. No, okay, it's fine. All right, we will start with advice, debunking advice on social media, especially we will start with Reddit, and then after that, the next stream will be about playing a video game and talking about entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Let's
Yeah.
go, Reddit. What do you offer us?
So, what is the best advice you would give an entrepreneur? It's always a good source for bullshit advice for people that don't have a clue but have a lot of confidence. Be selective in who you take advice from. That's good advice. It starts very strong, but for some reason, this guy was deleted his account. And stay off Reddit during business hours. It's a heaven for the unmotivated. Wow.
I
I didn't
I
expect
couldn't
such
agree
a good.
more.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, yeah. Actually, it's pretty good advice because there are so many people who are talking about like giving you advices even though they haven't never been in that situation you have been through. So
Yeah.
yeah, just don't listen to like everyone. Be selective. Get a good mentor.
It's such
The,
a.
actually just reading the reply to his post. It's actually pretty good after business hours too. Most importantly, before business hours as well. Social media is such a time sink. That's so true.
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, it's such a huge difference between people who have experience with running a business. So if you talk with people before they've started a business, they are so overly optimistical, so naive. But then when you talk with people who have been working for half a year or or for a whole year, then you realize how much more down to earth they are.
Yeah, I think one key takeaway from being an entrepreneur is it humbles you down.
Yes. You you realize how much more difficult it actually is, how much more complicated it is. So don't open a restaurant. Yes, that's also such an interesting occurrence that so many people start the same type of business. Even in online, it's always the same trends. Like few years ago, or maybe like 10 years ago, it was all about FBA. Everyone on YouTube was talking about starting a business selling stuff on Amazon. And my friend Alex, tried it and it was very tough. And she might, like, yeah, it's very, not even one person, one of our friends, but a few friends, like Darius, I think, also tried in this direction. And usually it's the first few people who started early, they it was easy and effective, but then they they start it starts becoming more difficult. So those people might start creating content on social media because the main business doesn't work. But usually, if the main business works, people will not start talking about it on social media and telling other people to start that.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so interesting to see, like, especially if you start networking, who are the people who are constantly on social media talking about what they are doing or what they are about to do, more or less. And then you find people, you meet people, they are not active on social media at all. Maybe they post once in a while on LinkedIn or maybe on Instagram, but like 99.9% of the time, they're gonna be grinding down their business. They are not talking about it, they are doing it.
Yeah, especially if it goes well, why should you spend your time? And usually,
Exactly.
those who talk the most on social media in general, those people have the most time, and they are probably the least competent and have the least amount of experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, going back quickly once more to the restaurant thingy. Actually, there was a really good and interesting YouTube video the other day where they were dissecting actually the business like processes behind pizza restaurants
Mhm.
and why seemingly pizza restaurants working so well and they are not really failing that often. I think it was in the US like a 9% failure rate of a restaurant. And it basically boils down to good processes and good pricing, and you don't have to have like a big real estate. You don't have to have like lots of seats. You can also be present in a space where people just come and pick up the stuff. As long as you are good and you have a credible product for a good price, people will come back. And then was one thing which I didn't really think about it, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Once you have one business, like one pizza restaurant, a small one, and you want to open up like somewhere close another one, you can also get like your not an HQ but more like a warehouse kind of thing where you prepare like the dough for the day at one place, and then you can quickly distribute to the pizza places around you, depending on where they need more dough. And this was really interesting to see because that makes actually pizza restaurants quite scalable, because at some point you have like small satellites where you're serving your customers from, but there's like one main hub which is actually taking care of making pizza sauce and pizza dough all the time.
Yeah, process is such an important factor of entrepreneurship that is overlooked oftentimes. Everyone is thinking about creativity and scalability and all those fancy impressions of entrepreneurs, but in reality, it's actually like the boring stuff that brings you further.
What else do we have? Actually, the first couple of advices were quite good here. There's nothing really memeable, which is quite
Damn it,
surprising.
you wanted bad advice. Here's another guy. Okay, this is someone said bigger isn't always better. Yeah, it's a luxurious problem usually, but yeah, especially in the beginning, scalability is the second thought. It's not in the most important thing. It's more about figuring everything out and doing a lot of manual things before you can automate and scale everything. You have to figure out the proper way, and many startups they skip that. They try to buy as much traffic as possible. They try to automate as much as possible, but if the foundation is weak, you will just waste a lot of money.
Absolutely. I
So
think
someone is. Mhm.
on Reddit on Reddit there are actually some subreddits which are pretty good because there's
Mhm.
legit incredible advice in some of the stuff there, because there are some people who are really good at what they've been doing. There are some people they already sold their business at least once and they can give good advices. But if we really want to dive into like some of the more memeable content, maybe we should check out like LinkedIn lunatics, because this is
Oh
one
yeah,
like
that's a good idea.
where
Let's do
people
that.
post stuff from people from posts by people on LinkedIn, which are more degenerate than anything else. So
So is it on Reddit
yeah,
or is it?
let me send you a link
Yeah, I
in
found it. I
Slack real
found
quick.
it. I think. Yeah, I
Okay.
found it. Just a second. Oh, everything needs a. Okay, never mind. So where is the right window? Here is the right window. Well, I mean, it's also good to expand on the good advice, because oftentimes, if you haven't done if you haven't done this experience those small pieces of advice is a little bit difficult to understand how to implement that, but we explain in a bit more details with some examples. So best sorted by, I guess best is maybe top, like with the most likes.
Yeah, this is a good one. I saw this one earlier today.
Tell me.
If you can open it up so that people can actually see what it's about.
The picture or the or
The
like that?
text, the text, the text.
Okay.
Yeah, open up the picture. Yeah, you were right, but we need to focus on the text first.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, perfect. This is basically Justin's CV. He's from 1994 to 1998 snowboarding, been a snowboarding instructor. Then from 98 to 2002, he has been a French and math teacher. Then he has been the CBC radio host for some reason. And then suddenly he made a good jump to being Prime Minister of Canada.
Damn.
And now he is Katy Perry's
Wow.
boyfriend for some reason. I didn't even know. So, but the takeaway of this post is be like Justin. If you're bored, just change direction. Careers aren't linear.
Yeah, I mean it sounds good in theory if you pick out one of out of million people who have the who worked where it worked, but majority of like people in this situation after being snowboard and French math teacher, they are like continue doing some low paid stuff.
Yeah, but I think there's a small little kernel of truth in there as well. Like you shouldn't be like stuck in like one direction or like one profession. If you
Mhm.
get like see that this is going to be more or less a dead end street like what we have been through with domain name trading, you
Oh
have to
yeah.
be flexible and change like into a new direction, so that otherwise you're going to be stuck and not succeed or even like yeah, not make any money. So there's always some good stuff, but yeah, I really enjoyed this post because it's so hilarious.
I find it funny that CV includes being a boyfriend to Katy Perry.
It's networking. We are on LinkedIn. This is all about networking. She knows so many people. It's always
Ah,
an advantage.
and it's like it feels like the upgrade to Prime Minister of Canada.
Absolutely. This is only a step ahead. This is
You-
your goal to be like on a spouse visa to get into the US, right?
it's like the each position or each profession is being evaluated by numbers of followers you have.
Absolutely. Welcome
But in this
to
case, yeah, for me, um, I think we've done both directions. We've done stucking in one small niche and having trouble because it was getting smaller and smaller, this niche with domain trading. And then we had a phase where we were experimenting a lot, and both can be destructive. But I think the right way is to have one particular target audience. For example, in our case, nowadays we are focusing on software as a service startups. And then you can offer different services for them, different offers, because the technology, especially with AI, is changing so fast. And if you're stuck with one service that is now overrun with AI solutions, for example, it doesn't make to continue offering that. But because you are working with this particular target audience for like years and years, first of all, you know them very well. So you understand what they are missing, even in times of AI solutions. And then also you build a huge network on LinkedIn and like in person. And that is very valuable. When you have a new product, you offer that to like 10 thousands of people sudden, and it's so much easier to get the ball rolling. What do you think, Chris, about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. So yeah, we learned it the hard way so that our listeners don't need to learn it the hard way. They can skip some of the painful lessons. And sometimes I feel like it's so difficult to learn it from the theory. So I had my friend who wanted to build a startup, and I told him to use lean startup approach in the at the beginning, and he couldn't comprehend it. Like on paper it looked like it makes sense, but he couldn't implement that. And after wasting a lot of time and money, then like 1 year about later, he started implementing it because it's pretty painful to try out different business ideas with going all in every time.
Yeah, the thing with lean startup is to just start and like, yeah, I mean, nowadays you can even start in a couple of days thanks to AI, and then see what is working and what is not working, and then reiterate quickly.
Yeah.
You don't start a startup according to the lean startup principles with like spending months and months building a product just to see that your customers don't like it.
Yeah, it's so easy to waste a lot of time without the feedback from your clients or prospects at least. And for me, your entrepreneurship journey starts only when you launched. Before that, it's just dreaming and planning and thinking. And usually that's how people build up their idea in their mind. Like they think, oh, it will be amazing. Oh, I spent now a year on this business idea. It will be, it needs to be like amazing. Otherwise, I wasted my time, kind of like, and it's becomes um, ego problem.
Oh yeah, no one really likes to be disproved, or at least it hurts in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, entrepreneurship is so much about ego and confidence and believing in yourself in the right balance. Some people they lack confidence, but they look like they are really really like confident and believe in their business. But the problem is because their ego is so weak and doesn't allow to even consider potential risks or that it might not be the best idea ever. So it's a lot of a bit longer texts.
Here you have to skim over the text or just
uh,
like see what's in there and on the titles already. What's the next one? This looks
the next one, this one.
interesting again. Yeah.
NFT. 19 hours ago, how is it possible that people still be into NFTs? An ugly ape, wow.
I'm quickly reading the text because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always interested in NFTs to see if I was right in the beginning. So I can read it out loud. I bought this ape NFT for somewhere around four grand. I had CEOs, brand people, and marketing experts message me saying I would lost my mind. Some even bragged that they right clicked and saved it and now it was theirs. Most of you have turned into your parents. Most of you also invest in Bitcoin. It wasn't long ago that we had the same allergic reaction to that. Some of you even own a 10K Rolex when you can get the exact same watch for $100. We all buy things that don't make sense to signal who we are. NFTs organize around communities, which make that social signaling even stronger. So, so far, this ape has generated over 1 million impressions. It's pulled in die-hard fans of the brand and plenty of deniers. What many of you are missing is that the attention of some of you are chasing is sitting inside these communities. Oh, there's a lot to unpack in this one, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Where should we start? I mean, technically speaking, this right click and save, this is a really good point because even in the beginning, I remember listening to some YouTube clips by lawyers like explaining like there is no legal ground that you actually own the piece of work behind this just because you did a transaction on the blockchain. So this was one interesting tidbit, and also like this saying this take with most of you have turned into your parents. So what that person, I guess, tried to imply is that like things are new now, things are different, and different is automatically good, and it's you cannot use the tools you're used to from the past to apply here. Kind of like this new market rhetoric, which happened around the dot-com bubble, where everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna only go up and up and up," and everyone, like the adults in the room, they were like, "But they're wasting money." So what is happening? And people who were believing in it were always like, "Yeah, but it's the new market. It's different now." The same rhetoric you heard in like all the bull runs in crypto and all the products like NFTs, crypto kitties. That was basically the first kind of version of NFT out there in 2017, I think. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting to see. And one interesting point, maybe then you can take over and add your thoughts. Is this NFTs organized around communities, which make that social signaling even stronger? Do I hear cult? Because
Or
if you're in the echo chamber and you believe in
pyramid
stuff with
scheme, yeah.
others, or pyramid scheme to make the signaling stronger that someone can buy it for more. So yeah, a really interesting post, in my opinion. What's your opinion on this? I talk too much on it.
Yeah, I think he mentioned he mentions a few things that makes a little bit of sense. And in the right context, like if you have a really great business idea, or if it's a internet bubble, like still there is some substance, or like not internet bubble, but after the internet bubble, if you had a business, internet business with substance, and people were also saying, ah, you are stupid. But in this case, we are talking about something that doesn't have any value and doesn't have so much uniqueness. This those apes, they were generated automatically, like 10,000 pieces. So what is the value of that? I mean, with AI you can generate any pictures nowadays. And I think the most important, like from in my opinion, for entrepreneurs, they should always think about how much value do they bring to the world and to specific people. And if you view every business idea, every investment from that perspective, you will avoid, I think, many empty pyramid schemes, which for me NFT is just a pyramid scheme. There are people who bought those like who made a lot of money with those NFTs, and then other people are looking at them and saying, wow, I also want to make a lot of money. And it goes until there is no sucker who is willing to pay to buy more of those shit, and then it's implodes.
True, true.
It is about hiring. This is not about entrepreneurship. So we start every meeting early. Everyone at subject knows every retro, all hands. We maintain the operational habit because it creates a team-wide expectations that we demand punctuality. Okay, he's talking, I think, about punctuality and being and communication. So you have to constantly, for some reason, you start a meeting 1 2 minutes before. I don't know. I mean, you
I
can
also don't
overdo
really
it.
get the point. I mean, be punctual.
Yeah.
Absolutely, fully agree.
It's such a basic advice. It's not like, and he got okay, 13. Why is it time limited? Is it not like, can we, or are there not so many people? Ah, today, okay, maybe this year, then we will
Yeah, there's
have
so
a
many
bit
LinkedIn lunatics. It's actually quite a
800.
lot for today.
Astronoma, Providence College, CEO Astronoma.
Okay, interesting profile.
People on LinkedIn be like, never take a vacation, always neglect your family, and you can be as successful as me, a mid level manager at State Farm.
Ooh, burn.
Oh, yes, that's so true.
Oh, but there's so many posts on LinkedIn where people are like, "I'm on my vacation, but I still close some calls, sales calls," and it's like, okay, maybe get some rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's also so maybe for European like people, it's a bit difficult to understand. For Americans and Asians, it's a bit easier to understand. But how productive can you be if you are burnt out? we are we have our limits. I know from myself, like I work, and then I'm so tired I cannot even like create one paragraph. For one paragraph, like on a landing page that should be really on point, I need way too long. And if I take a break, like I go to a social event, my brain is still be like working, processing that in a subconscious. And then next day I write like phew, very fast. But if I stayed until like midnight, I would progress very slow, and my batteries would be lower and lower. And what's the point? How can you make good decisions if you are completely like tired and like, oh, I don't know what to do? And for entrepreneurs, it's usually not about doing as much as possible, because they are competing against big corporations or like bigger companies who have 100 employees maybe. So even if you do work like twice as much, you are just two employees. That's nothing. But the founder, like the entrepreneurs, founders, they succeed just if they make smart decisions.
that's the point. I mean, I don't get it when people are telling me like, "Yeah, I've been working 12 hours," and I was like, I don't know. If I go work for 4 hours straight, my brain is basically smoothed out. You cannot do anything good anymore, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm hitting a wall, and then it's done. And then I'm always amazed to see how when I slept like a proper sleep, like not this 5 hours, 4 hours bullshit, but my 8:30, and then I go back to a problem I couldn't solve the other day, and I was spending like way too many hours in the evening, and then suddenly in the next morning I'm like, okay, that's it, that was the solution, and I'm here. So sometimes it's so worthless to spend so many hours grinding on some problem or coming up with some creative output. You cannot really force it by just putting in hours. You can put in hours if you need to, I don't know, do some like call people all the time, but even then at some point you're losing focus. So yeah, uh, it's crazy. Well, this is also like a cult signaling kind of thing on social media where people are constantly talking about how much they are grinding. But this is, I think, this is kind of like trying to throw off like the competitors at some point, that you keep on telling the others do it that way. This is the best way, so that you don't have or you have much less competition. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also the problem oftentimes is that there are successful examples for every single case. There are people who make everything wrong, kind of, and then like 1 out of 10 million people, they succeed. And then they announce that if you want to succeed, you need to do exactly the same steps as I did. For example, Andrew Tate. Okay, he had some strength, but still, you shouldn't maybe like copy everything he's doing just because he was like lucky enough to succeed to a certain degree. It's like lotto winners. If the lotto winners were drinking beer all the time and then won the lottery, then they would say you have to drink beer to win, to come to this position that I did.
Absolutely.
For example, also like Alex Harmozy, for example, he's over also telling people, so like, yeah, you have to grind. And to a certain degree, I agree with him. Like he's saying, the first years you have to really like work your ass off and neglect everything else. But you have to be careful not to do it too long and not too much, because in his case, he succeeded. And back then, he explored Facebook ads, where he was one of the like it was a beginning stage, and he was generating a return on ad spend, which is like nowadays is 4 to 8 is already really good. And back then he was generating 30 of return on ad spend, and maybe he was good, but if the competition is low, it's much easier to achieve good results. And then suddenly it's so much easier to acquire clients to your agency, because no one else is like, there are some few agencies, but you don't know exactly when you succeed. And some people,
Absolutely.
maybe they have some talents, some people have a lot of luck at the right time, and usually it's like both of these things. But you cannot just copy the same like approach of from Alex Harmozy and say, okay, I will hustle 24 hours, like 20 hours out of 24 hours a day, and I will automatically be successful and rich after 2 years or something.
This is also a very good point. What you mentioned, like the revenue on ad spend, what he had in the beginning. Back then, Facebook was cheap, right? And
Yeah.
nowadays, Facebook is quite expensive. So you can achieve like more if you are like one of the the early movers in that market. And like you said, there's less competition, and then you can go out there like, yeah, I did this, I built this on Facebook, I did that, and blah blah blah. But nowadays, if you try really just copy paste his recipe and try to bake the same cake, ooh, probably you won't succeed. Or like, yeah, it won't work because yeah, things change.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of good advice, but also a lot of advice is specifically for bigger companies. Also, Gary Wee, for example, he he's always like, okay, you have to be on every social media platform. But this guy has for each platform a whole team, or at least like a whole team for different social media platforms. And as a founder, you cannot just apply the same approach. And like person like Gary Vee, he hasn't been kind of like in such a situation where he's has limited amount of money for maybe 20 years. How can he tell, like how can he understand your challenges?
Absolutely, absolutely. You, yeah, copy paste won't work, but you can listen and think what is actually applicable to you, and
Yeah.
then you can still you cannot applicable as it is. You still have to think about it and find something similar.
So here are some other. I was sexting a new romantic flame last month. Okay, that doesn't sound like LinkedIn, like professional entrepreneurs advice. Okay, the
Let's hear
problem
him
maybe
out. Let's hear him out.
it always goes from somewhere and then it goes to some career advice. That is stupid. She asked me for a nude photo, and I said I don't send digital versions. So I sent her something in the post. 5 working days later, it arrives. She texts me, "What the fuck is this?" It was a bag of 500 jigsaw pieces. I only
No
said
way.
nudes in puzzle form. What the fuck? Shows both intelligence and commitment to complete a whole jigsaw just to see a picture of my. Her response: I don't have time to do this. Immediate bin. I couldn't date anymore who see a jigsaw and it doesn't make them even more turned on. I also fired her because it's inappropriate to sleep at your boss.
Oh no. That cannot be
Damn.
serious.
And this guy is like, okay, I will publish that
And,
publicly, and
yeah, and
thousands.
he got actually he got exposure, that's for sure, because he's wearing the open to work tag, right? The screen thing in his profile picture. He
Ah,
definitely he definitely attracted some attention.
yeah, but who is going? Like everyone here, there is this movie. It will be like, but in the movie, he will go to interviews, and they were like, "Yeah, we invited you just to look at you and to have fun, but of course, we wouldn't hire you."
Oh, I found such a good thing the other day on Instagram. Let me try to find it. Maybe I can find it. It was also about an interview, because people these days they're quite fed up by with having interviews,
Oh yeah.
because you, if you try to apply for some job, especially in IT, you have to jump on like 50 different calls, and then either they ghost you, or you get discarded. And yeah, let me try to find it real quick, and then we can all share some laughter.
So I will check out, meanwhile, the 5 hard truths about entrepreneurship everyone should know. There is a high risk of failure. Oh, yes. Even after giving your best, your first step might fail or take time to get success. Oh, yes, 100% agree. You will have to say no to a lot of friends, meetups, family events, and many other things. And that might lead to some people leaving. But those who stay will be there for lifetime. Okay, that I don't agree with that, to be honest. Because I actually did something like that myself. And it's not your friends and family's job to stay with you even if you don't care like about them. So if you are obsessed about your business or your entrepreneurship or career, and you don't contact them for months and years, at the beginning they will maybe try to contact you, but after a while they will say, okay, this guy is not interested in me. This is not a filter for bad or good family members or friends. This is a recipe for depression. Because after a while you will only have friends that only talk about business, that are also obsessed about business like you. And maybe it's okay for some time, but after a while you might start feeling an emptiness, and you will miss like the wide variety of conversations with your, like with people who are not only interested in business. You will have to take 100% of decisions, and some of them will be just based on intuition. In your experience so far, some of your decision might turn out to be disaster, but it's okay. Yes, I mean, hundreds, not 100%. Yeah, yeah. As a solopreneur, yes, but then after a while, maybe you can get some freelancers or some like team members, and then you can delegate a little bit. And there is a big challenge of decision fatigue. So in the morning you can make decisions pretty easily, but after a while you get like, oh, I don't even know where we should go to eat. I don't want to think even about like which movie we are going to watch. And the solution for that is to to create habits and to simplify many other choices. So instead of always like trying to figure out what should I do, what should I choose from that, you have structures, you have systems, and you do the same things over and over again. And of course, and then you have more power, more energy to make the important decisions, because majority of decisions, they are like they are not that important for a startup. And we oftentimes, like many founders, overthink many decisions. The journey of entrepreneurship is very lonely. Yeah, that's also this approach of like, okay, you have to abandon everything else and focus on entrepreneur, like on your business. And yes, there is a little bit of truth to loneliness. At least during the day, you don't have your colleagues if you are a solopreneur, or if you don't have team members. You might have sales calls, or like, yeah, at some point you will start have some team members, freelancers to talk with. But for me personally, it was very important to go to social events on a regular basis, because I knew if I stay the whole day alone in my office or at home, I need to get out. I need to socialize. Otherwise, I can get crazy, kind of. With crazy, I mean depressed. It's a very long journey, and there will be times when you'll be burning through your savings before the money starts flowing in. You need to be patient and plan your finances as careful as possible. Yes, totally
Mm.
agree. This is also another big issue for many founders. They are overly optimistical, and they expect the revenue, the profits start generating after too short period of time. And when that doesn't happen, they start kind of like being stressed out. And the whole hustle culture is not sustainable for years. It's only sustainable for a few months, and people get more desperate after a while and start working even more and start making even worse decisions. And at some point, it's just burnout. And many founders burn out, by the way. And then you will be forced to stop for 6 months, for for a year. And that's usually the end of your entrepreneurial journey, and quite a scar for your mental health.
I think this is also one thing people don't really. In the beginning, it's all rosy. You're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna start my own company, do this and that." But this point with savings and burning through them, and also risking to burn out, everyone should like, yeah, pull or like, yeah, pull the emergency lever when they are getting to this point that they only have like 12 months in savings left. Because if you're gonna burn out in the end and you see nothing is working and you cannot work and you don't have any savings left, you are screwed. So this is a position where you you you're gonna, this can really break the neck. This can destroy like, no, relationships, maybe a marriage at this point. Maybe you're gonna lose your house because you're unable to work. You've burned through your savings. You need to sell it to actually cover your life expenses. So this is always where I'm like, yeah, it's good to start something, but be aware of the risks and have an exit strategy in case things are not going well, which honestly 90% the times of like VC funded companies, they're gonna fail. And during the time, most of the people who actually are aware of this fact, they use the time not just to build their company, but also to network. I've seen people who failed their businesses, but they at least could switch to quite conveniently to a job to get back on their feet. So this is one thing they have to keep in, everyone has to keep in their mind when they're gonna go down the, it's gonna be awesome, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur kind of road.
Yeah. I mean, for most startups, they don't even get those VC fundings, and they already, many founders, they already start with very limited funds, and it's really really tough with, if you don't have enough money, even like to pay some, like for advertisement, to pay someone to help you. We've seen it ourselves with our own business. When I was like, we were trying to do everything ourselves, because I thought we like I thought personally, we cannot afford like freelancers or something. I will try to do everything myself, but then i'm I cannot do so many different things in a good efficient way. So I was taking too long for very very like low quality output, and yeah, it just extends like the whole pain kind of. And when you have some a little bit of money, it's so much easier, because suddenly you can hire a few freelancers, you can pay a little bit like for some traffic, and suddenly you have exposure. You progress, uh, not even like few times faster, but you progress tens or hundreds of times faster, because without money, with SEO or social media, it takes so long time to generate like a few hundreds like views, impressions every day. And with Google ads or with Meta ads, you can generate those amount like so easily. You can generate thousands of views every day, and that's way like it's such a much faster learning process of whether your product is even like attractive to the right people.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think when people really start their own business without experience, without money, without like a network, this is failure maxing. The odds are so against them. This is yeah, naivete.
So here is interesting old school advice from Medium I found. I find it interesting because it feels like over like so many people telling this advice, and I'm like and for majority of advice, there is a little bit like truth in that, but you have to like see it a bit more critical. So starting a business you enjoy and are knowledgeable about. The problem with that is nowadays, so many founders, they have a similar background. So nowadays with AI, they they start, they are developers, and then they are they have the same challenges, they have the same background, they enjoy the same things, and they start the same businesses. How many um, chat bots have I seen? Like so many chatbots, or those agents. What is the name, Chris? I told you yesterday. Agents.
AI agents, yeah,
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 exactly. AI
agentic
agents.
AI.
It's crazy how many there are. It feels like every like second business idea is the same idea that I have seen hundreds of times already. And how are you going to succeed? So, for example, also my our friend, he started selling tablet PCs, and because he likes this stuff. But on the other hand, there are so many business ideas that are boring. No one thinks about them, and if you start them, you don't have competition, and you can succeed much easier.
Yeah, I think this is also this advice comes from some sort of survivorship bias
Yeah.
because only people who have an interest in things which generate the money are gonna say like, "Oh, do something you like." Because I don't know, some people they like painting, they like drawing pictures. Some people they like to play guitar. Some people they have like some really some niche interests. They're interested in astronomy. the thing is, how are you gonna or how are you supposed to build a business on top of that? I mean, yes, I mean, I got lucky that I was interested in web technology back then in 2005 ish, and I got jobs that way. Um, but it could have been some passion. Like I could, my passion could have been like playing soccer all the time, but this wouldn't have made me money at all because I'm for sure a bad player. So yeah, really hard advice. I mean, absolutely, I get the sentiment behind this one. You definitely have to do something you enjoy, otherwise you can't you're not gonna endure the time you're really treading to do it if you don't enjoy it. I mean, a good example for me is like I'm not a Python developer, and every time I need to touch Python, this is dreadful. So every time I'm like, "Whoo, I could never ever work as a freelancer developing things in Python because I don't like it." So yeah, there's so much behind this advice, and I know where the different angles are coming from, and it's definitely not applicable to everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, about business plan, it's also feels a little bit outdated for me because in my opinion, it depends what you understand for business plan. For me, it's more about creating a proper marketing strategy. So you try to figure out where are unmet needs that are big enough so that people are willing to pay for that. And if you see that as a business plan, of course, but if you try to plan all the aspects of your business that doesn't exist yet, it's just waste of time. And of course, the advantage of business plan is that you start thinking about different things and get a bit more clarity. But if you spend like a month on creating a business plan that will be outdated like 3 6 months after your launch, then it's just waste of time.
I have one more thing to that one. It comes from, I don't even remember who said it to me, and I also won't say their name, but they had a good point. Um, it was a venture capitalist, and they said to me, whenever we see a business with actual numbers and revenue, we are less likely to invest in them because the fantasy is much easier to sell. So if you come up and have like a super fantastic business plan and projections, like your idea which has never been done before is gonna rule the world in 18 months, this is more likely to actually be able to be so like back then to be sold to VCs, because they're gonna be like, oh yeah, for sure, he got such a good team, he got such a good drive. We cannot argue about the numbers, and we definitely know that they're gonna be way off, but yeah, here we go. But as soon as they see like, the market is absolutely not interested in this, ooh, nope, we're not gonna tank money in there, because they also have to think about their exit strategy. I mean, VCs, they have to have an exit path, otherwise they are not gonna make their LPs, the limited partners, happy in their funds. So they have to have like some story they can also basically tell their investors, and they need to have a story ready which the founders of the company can, I don't know, tell the public in an IPO, so that everyone gets like yeah, in the black, like in the positive. So yeah, business plans can be interesting, but like you said, you cannot really predict something which has never been done before, so what's the point? But it's definitely a tool to see what might be things you definitely be missing, like expenses, like HR, infrastructure, I don't know, you name it, marketing, definitely, and get some idea. And it's better to have a strategy than to have fully fledged numbers.
I think VCs are kind of like gamblers,
Oh, for
especially
sure.
back then, like a few years ago when the money was very cheap. It's like they saw at other VCs who were investing maybe in 100 different startups, and five of them exploded. No one cared about 95 of others. And that's how many VCs were working, I think, for quite some time.
Probably they still are like AI.
Oh yeah, but AI is
Slap AI
crazy.
on it. Sure, invest in it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think they thought to themselves, okay, you know what? The craziest ideas became like $1 billion ideas that we were very skeptical of. Okay, you know what? I think we don't know we don't know what will succeed, so let's invest in everything that has like the right connections, maybe the right, yeah, environment, but the idea itself, it can be crazy and it can become something unique, something successful. Now we can switch to a little bit like lighter topics with memes.
Ah, that's a good idea. Pinterest. Yeah. Let's go.
Two reasons why people don't mind their own business: no mind, no business.
Oh, the next one is also pretty good with the skeleton.
A freelancer still waiting to get paid. Oh yeah, that's so crazy. Like so many clients, prospects, they first expect freelancers to do a lot of free work before they hire them, and then they also like expect them to do a lot of free work without payment. And yeah, I think those clients, they think they are smart because they are paying less and getting some free stuff, but in reality, good freelancers, they recognize such behavior, such clients, and they run away from them. So those bad clients, they oftentimes work with bad freelancers.
Match made
And
in heaven.
there is no saving of money. Yeah, starting a business and running a business, that's so true. That's 100%. I also was like, when when I started my business in the university, I was thinking, okay, in a few years when I'm done with university, I will first just travel the world because I will have my passive income with domain trading and stuff and websites. And then after the university, I had to hustle to earn some money to sustain myself. And I probably looked pretty much like completely different a few years before that.
Oh, there are many good ones. Like the right to it. There's a kernel of truth in it. They say money can't buy happiness, but being broke can't buy shit. Circuits perfectly back to this point where like get the advice of abandon everyone, just focus on your business, and then you have money, but your happiness is gone because you abandon everyone who used to be important in your life. So yeah, but then on the other hand, if you don't have any money, it's
Oh
also
yeah.
quite tough. Make ends meet.
Yeah, how much money do you need, if you are completely broke and cannot afford the basic stuff, yes, that decreases the happiness significantly. But having like enough money, kind of like average salary in Western countries, or above average salary, that's already pretty good happiness. And then it makes a difference whether you are living your life, you are following what you like inside you, besides all those, oh, I want to become rich, wants to do. Like, for example, for me, it works really well. So sometimes I'm so in the flow of working and I can neglect many of my needs. But in those cases, I started like to check in with myself on a regular basis. And then I realized, oh, I actually need sports. Oh, I need socializing. Oh, I need like food or something. Or I need just to go out and go for a walk. And when you are stressed, when you are in this flow, you don't recognize those things. And with happiness, it's the same. Like if you work for 10, 20 years without any socializing, without any like what your heart wishes, you get this money, and suddenly you don't have, like, you realize you don't have health because you were like working all the time, which is unhealthy. You don't have friends, like real friends, not just business connections. You don't have a proper family, like relationship, romantical and stuff. What's the point of more money?
Exactly. Yeah, there was also a really good study many years ago, actually. I think probably over 10, 15 years, where they were actually researching like at what point, like how much more happy can you get if you make 100,000, I think it was euros a year more. At some point, it really reaches a plateau. You're
Yeah.
not gonna get any more happy if you're, like you said, the basic needs are met. Like if you have a roof above your head, if you can eat the stuff you like, if you can go vacation whenever you like. Because lots of people, they need to plan everything ahead of time, and they need to save up money to do like some interesting trip for them. And then if you're beyond that point, what should you do with the excess money? You can already go wherever you like, you can already do whatever you like, you already have like probably a good apartment or a decent apartment, a good house, whatever. You might you might come up with problems. I don't know, it really depends how you're wired. Maybe the game of making money makes you happy, then you probably continue. But yeah, at some point, if you reach this minimum plus like a margin on top of it, it starts to no longer increase like the happiness. It's gonna flat out because those 10K a month won't make a difference. You you're most likely gonna set them aside, like, okay, I saved this money because yeah, whatever. It's
How
not
much
changing my day.
how much steaks and sushi can you eat? How much like what's the
Exactly.
difference between driving a Bentley and Mercedes, like higher class, for example? That's extreme. Or even golf, like for European and German audience, even golf, you like, it's already convenient. There is a marginal difference. It's only a big difference for those people who feel the need to prove the world that they are smart, that they are successful. Then it makes a big difference, like driving a Ferrari or Porsche. But it's so much cheaper to work on your mental health, to work on your confidence, and to understand, why do I actually want to prove everyone that I'm so smart?
100%.
Limiting beliefs, books, and then the books, they will throw you away. Okay, so yeah, the limiting beliefs, they can cripple you kind of, because you always feel like you don't have enough what it takes. You don't, like, I've spoken with many on our podcast, but also I have this experience with myself. There are people who try another course and another course and another book and another like education, and they already know enough to start, but they spend 1 2 and more years just getting better and better. And when they speak with like prospects, or when they make decisions in their business, they always feel like, ah, I just need to improve myself, I just need to focus on that. And that's a good, like, to a certain degree. And the more you read, or especially like the more you watch those successful entrepreneurs like Alex Harmuzi, who are on completely other level, and they optimized everything, and you look at your stuff, at your business, and you think, "Oh, why am I like still having problems with small issues, while this guy has figured like big issues out?" And then you get even more like limited beliefs. But of course, it's all just in our brain, just on our mind. And in truth, the most important, I think, understanding is that everyone has like limitations, has limiting beliefs, has like insecurities, and you just don't see it because they perform like confidently, and you have to accept that and just continue doing it. Yeah, this is also interesting. Registered company. People sometimes celebrate their starting the business so much, and I'm like, okay, you started the marathon. What's to celebrate there? Even if you get investors' money, it's also just like you started a race. It's way too early to celebrate. At least you got a chance. At least you got a car, kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will probably end it soon and move to the gaming portion. Or what do you think, Chris?
Yeah. Let's go and yeah. I mean, we've been on now an hour. It was a good start. At least we know now where to get the good content.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's continue with the gaming part. That's gonna be interesting because I haven't done Age of Empires 2 in probably 5 years. So let's see how this is gonna be gonna go.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking also forward to that. And yeah, we will end this stream and start another stream where we will play Age of Empires 2, a strategy game that is like legendary. And we will talk about business and entrepreneurship while having fun, and people can enjoy like the game and also learn a few things from our 15 years of experience.
Alrighty, see you on the other side,
Yes,
everyone.
thank you
And
guys for listening to us, and yeah, comment and join us next time.
alrighty, have a good one, everyone.
Bye bye. All right, and